Carlton, welcome. Thank you for joining me today on this episode of Core Talks. I wanted to just set the scene for Core Talks to start with and why GFT are starting this initiative. So Core Talks for us is to bring the topic of core modernisation to the forefront of the agenda, the forefront of the mindset of the business, and to provoke this discussion about what's provoking core modernisation in industry. And so speaking to you today as an industry expert with decades of exposure and experience in the world of core modernisation, we wanted to touch upon your insights in your background as to what's really provoked that. So I wanted to start by really going back in your career and looking at what's been provoking core modernisation.
Okay, you're making me feel really old. But having said that, I mean, before I joined GFT, I was 30 years in services, but also in banking, in a small bank, in a big bank. The technology changes. I love the phrase, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I've been on the business side of a bank, and the worst moments of my time there is you don't know it's broken until it's broken. Mm-hmm. And you suddenly can't process your payments on, you can't react to something in the marketplace in terms of a product, and it's going to take you 6-9 months. So I think a lot of people don't think that their core technology is broken, but it actually is, and they'll start to find out, and they tend to find out when crises hit. And what that really takes is it takes some strong leadership from the business and the technology communities to get their heads together and decide to take some action. And that often doesn't happen. The can gets kicked down the road. There's a disconnect between the business agenda and the technology agenda. But for sure, there's no doubt in my mind that given the pace of consumer demands, there's a huge inertia and a huge need to act to tackle core platform modernization. And it's quite difficult to, business cases are kind of interesting. You can make a business case say anything you want if you really try hard enough. It comes down to leadership and business and technology leaders realizing the frailties and the needs of their organization and to take a decision to act.
Mm. So that's good. That's a good reflection, and kicking the can down the road was a good analogy to use. So that can has been kicked down the road to today.
Yep.
And so in your opinion, what's provoking the continued need for core modernization in today's marketplace?
Consumer demand.
Okay.
100%. I mean, you can talk about the internals of your startup bank or a large bank until the cows come home, as it were, but the consumer demand in the marketplace is increasing in terms of new products, new services, digital services. We've seen that accelerate over the last few years, and it's not going to go away. So I think the big, what's the change, if you will, from kicking the can down the road? It's absolutely consumer demand. And also, perhaps the market's a little bit tighter. People are worried about competition. People are protecting market share, trying to take market share. And when other organizations act and start to be competitive, it starts to create a sort of a upward spiral of competition, which is probably a very healthy thing for the consumer. Yeah. So for me, it's the consumer expectation and demand. And
do you see that continuing as future predictions in what's going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years, or 5 to 10 years, let's say?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to decelerate. I think consumer demand is only going to accelerate in terms of new services and offers and digital services. So that's only going to accelerate. I think for the future, in terms of what the solutions are, it's a technology issue and it's a cultural issue. So I think the winners are going to be the organizations and the services providers and solution providers that get that you've got to bring technology and business together. Easier said than done. And I also think there will be lots of people claiming they have the answer.
Yeah.
For me, it's impossible that there'll be one answer. I think there will be different ways to tackle platform modernization and different solutions. And there will be probably a relatively small number of winners ultimately that will take the market for different types of sectors and different types of size of organization. Yeah. So there's a lot to win and a lot to lose in this marketplace. Yeah. The big thing that matters is expertise. That's going to be the biggest constraint, is going to be getting the people in the marketplace who've got the expertise who know how to do this.
Yeah, perfect. Carlton, thank you very much for spending the time with me today. It was a great, insightful discussion and good to learn about what your past experiences have been and where you see the market moving forward as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.